Hi, this is Tad Stevens, and welcome to my seven-figure affiliate marketing checklist video walkthrough. It's short, quick, helpful videos to make sure you're doing the things you should be doing and not doing the things you should not be doing when it comes to your affiliate marketing. Stick around to the end of this video, and I'll show you the best affiliate marketing deal I have found anywhere. Here we go. Seven-figure affiliate marketing checklist number 4, how to get the right traffic right. And that's not a typo. I meant it to be like that. So traffic sources are many and they vary. You can have paid and organic. Paid will get expensive if you're not used to doing this or if you're new to this. It can get expensive really fast. And organic will take time. It'll take your time. It'll take somebody else's time, which if they're an employee, you're going to have to pay them to do that. So even though you call it paid traffic, if you pay for ads, the organic traffic still costs money one way or another, either your time or an employee's time. So I always suggest starting with organic, unless you want to start fast and you're comfortable with paid traffic and you have the money to test and optimize your funnel. I would say for at least 2 months. If you can go 3, that's better. I would spend at least $500 to $1,000 per month on ad spend because you need that much data to determine whether your funnel is working or not, and to optimize it as you go, to tweak it, to evaluate it, to look at it, to fix the things that aren't as always efficient or effective as you'd like. You can also do this if you've got the money and you don't have time to promote and go for organic traffic. If you've got the money and you want to go for paid, just understand that the first part, and that can be 2 weeks, it can be 2 months, but the first part of your campaign is going to be to gather data, to find out what images are working, what text is working, what landing pages are working, where your messaging's off, that kind of thing. A lot of the front end of a campaign anyway is to gather data. So in the end, the best network is where your target audience is in sufficient numbers that are willing to buy the offer that you present. I mean, that's it. That is the best place to be. And you can't really, or I can't say, that Google ads is the best or YouTube ads is the best or Facebook ads are the best. I don't know, because I don't know your offer. I don't know your audience. I don't know where they are most likely to be searching or open to buying your product or your offer. It depends. And these are some of the networks that I look at. I've advertised on almost all of these. There are a couple I haven't, but I'm going to, just because I want to try them, and I think that that they have a lot of potential. And these aren't in any order of importance or value. This is just the way I listed them. So there's Facebook. Facebook has a lot of people on it, a lot of eyes, a lot of clicks. I usually don't start here, but given the depth and breadth of its audience, it's always an option. Instagram, also a lot of eyes, a lot of clicks. And I usually don't work in Instagram. It's not mine. I just don't like it that much. But it can work really well. If you understand it and you're in Instagram and that's your thing, then absolutely. YouTube. And I love YouTube. I think it's a longer term play. It takes a while to get going. This is for organic. If you're doing YouTube ads, you can ramp it up really, really quickly. And I have become a big fan of YouTube ads of late because of the in-stream ads and the ability to put an ad out there. And if somebody skips it, you've probably seen them if you watch YouTube, the ads that come up, you can skip the ad. If you skip that ad before 30 seconds, the person putting the ad up doesn't have to pay for it. So that's one of the reasons I like that, is you can get a lot of eyeballs on your offer or on your lead in really pretty cheaply. And so I think that's a great place to look. Google, if you're doing content on Google, SEO, that is always something you can look at and always something you should be aware of, but it is a long-term play. It has gotten super competitive, and to me, it's just harder and harder to do. I almost always do SEO marketing as an afterthought now. except for one business that we've been in for years and years, and we've just been doing it for so long. That's our main traffic generation source. But it's very competitive. It's a longer term play. It's just hard to do. And then Google Paid is always something to be considered, but because of all the people in that network, in that market, it can be expensive. So you got to look at it. Do you have a price point, and can you convert at high enough numbers to make to cover your ad spend plus get the margin that you want? And it just depends. You just got to look at it and work it. Pinterest. I like Pinterest depending on the offer and the audience that I'm going for. It can be really good. It takes time. It is a content-based network, but it's also a search engine because people search for stuff in Pinterest. So Pinterest, depending on what you're doing, for example, my wife does jewelry on Etsy, and Pinterest is a great traffic source for her. She gets a lot of eyeballs from Pinterest. Then there's Twitter. I am not really much into Twitter. I've never gotten it to work really well for any of the offers or campaigns that I've been doing, but I've heard people do, so it's always something to consider. LinkedIn, I think, is hands down the best for business to business or B2B if you're doing organic and if you're doing marketing through messaging. I do not suggest that anybody do ads on LinkedIn unless you're IBM or General Motors or somebody like that, just because the ads are much, much more expensive than any other network, and the conversion rates that I've seen anyway are lower than other networks. So they cost more and they get you less, but that's LinkedIn. And then TikTok, I'm just starting out on. I've been doing organic work with TikTok in the last couple of months, gotten some positive results, some iffy results. I haven't done any paid campaigns on TikTok, but I'm looking to do that as well. One of the reasons I really like it is because it is just starting out as a paid network, and those are always the good days, the good old days of any paid network or any paid promotional network is when it starts out because everybody hadn't found it yet. So if you can remember, I don't know if you've done paid ads this long, but I remember getting 5-cent clicks in Google Ads back when I started around 2000, and then the same clicks nowadays cost anywhere from $10 to $15. Then there was Facebook when it came along. I could get 1-cent clicks, and now they're $1 to $3. So it just depends. But I really suggest you look at TikTok if you think your audience is there, and your audience is probably there. I mean, I know a lot of people say, oh, no, it's just teenagers. No, it's not. There's over 1 billion people on TikTok, and some of the older demographics are definitely there in large enough numbers to make it worth it. So stay open to that. And then there's Reddit that I've done with some success, but you have to really understand Reddit. So I'd suggest you look at Reddit, get to know it before you really try much of a campaign there. I mean, there's the ones, all the networks above it, you're probably going to have better success, and you don't need to know them as deeply. Reddit's kind of a subculture, so just approach it with that in mind, but it can be very effective and very efficient. So start out with just one, and there's a reason for that, is that if you try to do more than one, it's kind of like chasing rabbits. If you chase more than one, you're never going to catch one. So start with one and do that one. Get it down, get it to where you feel comfortable with it, you understand it, and whether you know that it's working or not. And what I mean by that is, putting a campaign together and running it for 3 days and then saying, oh, this doesn't work, or you're not getting any conversions, and then saying, oh, this doesn't work, and the network sucks. It's probably not the network. It's probably the way you're going about your campaign. And unless you know how to approach it and you're testing, a good number of approaches. So let me back up for a little bit and talk about that. Is that one of the best Facebook marketers that I know, that I follow, when he does a campaign on Facebook, he starts out with the same ad, same text, same landing page, same everything, but he varies the image across 20 different ads. He starts with 20. Because he's been doing it long enough, and he understands that he's not going to get it right first time out of the gate. It just doesn't happen. And that most of the time he doesn't know what's going to work. So he tests. So unless you're willing to do a level of testing, at least to where it's not, it's not just you guessing, then you really don't know that it's the network or not. It's most likely, in fact, almost every time I've seen people fail at, say, Facebook advertising, it's because of their ads or their images or their landing page, or they're not spending enough money, they're spending too much money, they're not trying it long enough. It's almost always the person running the campaign, but that's just my experience. Like I kind of mentioned, one of the biggest ways marketers fail is by not sticking with the platform long enough to learn the platform and how their audience interacts on that platform. And if you can, give it 2 to 3 months. And I missed this, but the most important metric, hands down by far, is ROI, or return on investment. It's how much you spend versus how much you make. Now, return on ad spend, click-through rates are good to get your campaign optimized. There's some other metrics in there you can look at and that you can use while you're testing it. But in the end, determining whether or not a campaign or a network is viable or the one to go with is ROI. That's it. So if everything else is close to equal, the best approach, or the best network, best platform, is the one that you'll do. Based on, the estimates that you have to start with, where you think your audience is going to be, that's where you start with. But also look at the one that you'll do. So if you're like me and you really don't like Twitter, and you're okay with Facebook, and you think that your audience is on either Facebook or Twitter, then I would start with Facebook, because I'm friendlier to Facebook. I like Facebook more. I don't like Twitter. So I'm not going to do something that I don't like down the road as much as I would something that I'm okay with. So pick the one that you'll do. Pick the one that you'll like. And liking is important because when the newness wears off and all that's left is work, it's just easier to get up every morning and do it if you like it. I hope that was helpful. Please like and comment below. We answer all of them. And subscribe to see more videos like this. Remember that marketing deal I mentioned? Check it out by clicking the link below, or go to er1.fun/7figures. That's er1.fun/7figures.